Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into a Thursday edition of The Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. I got you for the next 30, 35 or so as we break down Major League Baseball's wild card round, and we preview Thursday night football, the San Francisco 49ers or the San Francisco injured reserve versus the Los Angeles Rams, and Matthew Stafford, who seems to have drinking some water from the fountain of youth. Head to youtube.com/the Romanellas. That's youtube.com/the Romanellas, and hit subscribe on the YouTube channel. Support the show, both watching live the Rome Show and the great content my beautiful fiance and I have there at youtube.com/the Romanellas. Twitter X and Instagram. Twitter X and Instagram, the Rome Show 1. That's the Rome Show, then the number 1. The two primary social media sites for the Rome Show. Then finally, on Facebook, The Rome Show. Super simple for all my old head social media users out there. Head to facebook.com/The Rome Show. You can comment live on all of those sites. Comment live on the Twitter. Comment live on the Instagram. Comment live on the YouTube. Comment live on the Facebook. If you comment live on YouTube and X, it comes directly to the show. The final thing I got to tell you in our pleasantries lineup today, before we talk all of the fun sports topics we have planned, question poll going through the Instagrams right now. So head over to the Rome Show 1 on Instagram and get yourself some commentary on the questions in the story. We've been doing that for the last few weeks. We owe a hoodie to a C Court 30, I believe, on social media. C Court, we are working on that hoodie, trying to brand a new version of the Rome Show coming at you soon. In Major League Baseball yesterday, we had 4 game 2s in the wild card round. Now, going into the 2025 postseason, the 3-team iteration of the wild card had only existed since 2022, okay? And in that time, 18 of 20 total teams have ever won the wild card series after losing game number 1. You're essentially 100% on winning a series in wild card round 1, best of 3, when you win game 1. So going into yesterday, the 1-0 series leads were in the hands of the Detroit Tigers, the Chicago Cubs, the Boston Red Sox, and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And 3 of the 4, 75% of the teams playing yesterday, kept their season alive in order to give us 3 game 3s tonight in the wild card round. Before I dive into it, it is a friendly reminder of the parity in Major League Baseball going on right now. It is a friendly reminder that though there might have been some baseball historian type people that didn't like the changes coming to the game, that didn't like the bigger bases, that didn't like the amount that you could pick off or not pick off if you're a pitcher and a base runner playing that cat mouse game, that didn't like the pitch clock, that don't like the idea of any automated type umpire and a challenge system for a certain amount of balls and strikes next year. There are plenty of people out there that want the game of baseball to be played the same way it was played in 1863 when our great-great-great-great-grandfathers were playing pickup ball on the oil fields. That's how a lot of people want the game of baseball to stay. But as the numbers show, Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast, we gave you the viewership numbers on yesterday's show when we were celebrating Hump Day. Head back and listen. So on top of the thriving popularity in the sport over the last 3 years, the best 3-year stretch for this sport in at least the last 15 to 20, you also have thriving parity, okay? And I've come on this show before, and I've talked about how I think it's atrocious that the Rockies only win 40-some games and the White Sox only won 50-some games last year. And there's no team in this sport that should ever be worse than only winning 60 games. But it's happening. And there is a top to bottom problem in Major League Baseball. The top 10 and the bottom 10 are not even playing in the same league comparative to resources available, comparative to what they do for their franchise, comparative to the amount of money made. But the parity is real right now. The parity's alive. And you might be sitting here saying, well, Andrew, the team with the highest payroll, the best team in baseball, on paper and on the field, probably, the defending champion Los Angeles Dodgers are the only team that swept in the first round. Well, yes. Yes, they are. They also got the least equipped team to be in the postseason. So it only makes sense that they handled the Cincinnati Reds in a 2-0 series victory. But it didn't look clean. Watch the other 6 teams that played yesterday. You'll trust their bullpens and their starters, maybe not, but their bullpens, a whole lot more, at least through the first few games of the wild card. Now, the Cincinnati Reds are a scrappy team, and they fight. But it was 2 straight nights for the Dodgers where you get out of the starter and the relievers are giving up runs. Does that change in a tighter series? Does that change in round 2? It's very well possible. But the coin flip, in my eyes, of who could win this World Series is off the charts. And that's kudos to Major League Baseball and the changes they've been working on making over the last bunch of years. And you're never going to see the positive change for a game, for a professional league, right off the jump. No one probably understood in the National Hockey League after the strike why they were making some of the changes they were making. But you look back 15 to 20 years on that strike, that time period of the National Hockey League, and what it meant for the growth of the game, what those changes meant for the growth of the game. Well, now in 2025, you're sitting here and you're going, well, hockey's thriving, I think, comparative. Is it still the 4th of the 4 major sports financially? Yes. Is it still 4th of the 4 major sports viewership-wise? Not in the postseason, most likely. But that has nothing to do with hockey's ability to improve its sports viewership, to improve its sports fanship, to improve its sport overall. And Major League Baseball has been looking to do the same thing because it has been trending the opposite direction since the steroid era ended. That's just a fact. Ever since the steroid era ended in the early 2000s, baseball has been looking for something to grasp onto, for fans to enjoy, to make the game exciting. And the recent changes have done that. So now you have a postseason where you could possibly have 3 teams in 1 year do what only 2 teams could do over the course of the 4 previous years, which is win the wild card round after going down 0-1 in the series. Let's get this baseball playoff breakdown started with a little music. Let's start with the Tigers and the Guardians. Awesome game for the Guardians yesterday. Obviously, the story goes that Cleveland came back from being 15 and a half games back of the AL Central lead held by the Detroit Tigers. And on the last day secured the AL Central, which gave them this 3-game home wild card series. Well, Detroit comes in and wins the first game behind arguably the best pitcher in baseball, Tarek Skubal. And so Cleveland, with their backs against the wall at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, wild start time for a postseason game, comes out and defeats the Tigers 6-1. But it wasn't easy, and it was behind a huge bottom of the 8th inning where the Guardians scored 5 runs. It was tied 1-1 in the bottom of the 8th, and Cleveland had 2 home runs, 1 double, and 5 runs in that 8th inning. In total, the Guardians had only 6 hits in this contest, with half of them coming in the 8th inning. The bullpen, though, for Cleveland was the difference maker in this game. The Tigers, they scored their sole run in the top of the 4th inning, okay, with 1 out. For the remaining 5 2/3 innings, so essentially from the last out of the 4th all the way through the 5th through the 9th, the Cleveland bullpen gave up 0 hits. 0 hits. They held the Tigers hitless in 5 2/3 innings, and Cleveland extends the series 1-1, and this drama-filled calendar month of September into October will come to an end today for the Tigers and the Guardians, and we will truly find out who the actual best team in the American League Central is. That'll be the winner of the Game 3, Game 7 tonight. Steven Kwan, 1 for 4 with a run scored. George Valera, 1 for 2 with a run scored, a homer, and an RBI. Daniel Sheenman came off the bench with an RBI and a hit, but it was Bo Naylor with the big day for the Guardians. He had 3 RBI and a big homer in that 2-homer, 5-run 8th inning to win it for Cleveland. Cleveland hitting 167 in this series. Detroit hitting 571, but it doesn't matter because they each have a victory. That is what matters. That game will be first tonight, as it has been, a 3 p.m. ABC jump off. The starting pitchers for this contest are Jack Flaherty for the Detroit Tigers and Slade Ciccone for the Cleveland Guardians. In California, ladies and gentlemen, the San Diego Padres, they kept themselves alive against the Chicago Cubbies, pitching a 3-0 shutout. 4 San Diego Padres pitchers combined for this 4-hitter for San Diego. 11 Ks, 1 base on ball. Over his last 3 playoff games, Manny Machado had 0 hits. Well, he only had 1 in this contest, but it was a big one. A 2-run homer that scored his boy Fernando Tatis Jr. and himself in the top of the 5th. It gave the San Diego Padres a 3-0 lead. Gave the San Diego Padres a 3-0 lead, which their pitching staff held because their pitching staff, as we just mentioned, had a great day. The Padres had 7 of the game's 11 total hits in this contest. No one could really get anything going for Chicago. So now the Padres, they forced a Game 3, and that pitching contest has Yu Darvish against Jameson Taillon. So a good matchup there on the bump. The Padres take on the Cubs at Wrigley Field 5 p.m. tonight. By the way, I forgot I had the home run highlights from the Cleveland Guardians game and the big home run that was hit. And I also have some highlights from the game we are about to talk about in a second here. But it was Brian Rocchio with the go-ahead homer for Cleveland. I got it right here for you. Check this out.
Well hit ball right. Way back and go.
Ellis is going wild.
Just tucked his hands in so perfect. And the noise right off the bat, you knew it had a chance. The wind wasn't holding that up. Again,
great swing there from Rocchio, the difference maker for the Guardians as he puts the team on the board with a lead, and then the rest of the boys extend it. We finish with the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. As we've mentioned, people talk about, man, the most heated rivalry, one of the best rivalries in sports. Well, it is living up to its billing as Ben Rice started this game yesterday with a 2-run homer, putting the Yankees up by 2. But here came the Boston Red Sox. They fought back. They make it 2-2. Aaron Judge, who is having a miniature playoff resurrection for the Yankees, he went 2 for 4 last night, but the second hit, the third RBI, puts the Yankees up 3-2 while in the top of the 6th. Trevor Story hits a homer to make it 3-3. Carlos Rodon goes out the next inning. He's not as good. The bullpen comes in for the Yankees. They're looking to close it out. And look at the energy from Fernando Cruz after he closes this thing out.
Story sends one high and deep to center field. Grisham on the track is there to make the play. Look at Fernando Cruz. They got Rafael.
PR es otra cosa. Fernando Cruz giving his team a chance.
That's playoff baseball right there. Look at this man's face. Look at this man's excitement. This is a grown-ass man right here. Look at that energy. That's postseason baseball, ladies and gentlemen. The Bronx was electric last night. The juice was flowing last night. And this right here from Fernando Cruz gives me everything I need and everything I want when it comes to postseason baseball. You got to tune in. All right, and if you choose one series to watch tonight, choose this one because it is electric. Look at the energy. So now it's 3-3. We're in the bottom of the 8th. We got 2 outs. We got Jazz Chisholm Jr. on first base. Some controversy after game 1 with Jazz Chisholm Jr. because he didn't play because the lefty Crochet was on the mound. You play your best players in the most important times, Aaron Boone. That's all you got to do. Lefty, righty, ambidextrous guy, some dude that kicks the ball to the mound. Who are your best 9 hitters and put them on the field? Because you know what? They'll produce for you if they're good enough and if it's meant to be, and it was last night as Jazz Chisholm races home for the game's go-ahead run.
And he lines one into right field. Fair ball. Chisholm to third. He's being waved. Eaton coming home. Here's the throw. He's safe. And the Yankees have a lead on Austin Wells' single. And the speed of Chisholm.
And I want you to watch this one more time, ladies and gentlemen. Watch where this baseball lands. I'll turn the volume off on the video. Watch where this baseball lands. Bang. There it is, right down the right field line. Now you got a guy, though it's 2 outs, and he should be running on contact. You got a guy scoring from first base on this play. How awesome is that? Look where he is. He's already rounding third. The guy hasn't picked up the baseball. That's how fast he is. That's the difference maker of Jazz Chisholm. Besides the fact that he can play a good enough defensive third base for you or second base for you. Besides the fact that he brings juice to the ball club, he does things like that. Speed kills. Speed changes the game. And on game number 1, we watched the Boston Red Sox leg a single into a double on some lazy outfield play from the Yankees, and that run ultimately cost the Yankees the game as they lost 3-1, and that was the second run scored to give the Red Sox the lead. Whereas on this night, we saw the timely hitting from the New York Yankees. We saw timely base running from the New York Yankees. And we saw timely managing from the New York Yankees. I honestly think the only reason why the Red Sox were still in that game is because Alex Cora made the decision to take Bello out so early in the game. But the Yankees, they extend the series. They make it 1-1. And we have now, as I mentioned in the open, the third wild card game 3, game 7 tonight in Major League Baseball. For the Yankees, the starting pitcher is going to be Cam Schlittler. He's 4-3 with a 2.96 ERA, 84 Ks for the young right-hander for the Bronx Bombers. And for the Red Sox, Connolly Early, a lot of LY at the end of this dude's name. 1-2, 2.33 ERA, 29 Ks. Only 4 starts in the regular season, all coming in September. All 3 of those 4 starts, 5 innings pitched or more, 7 or more Ks in 3 of the 4 starts. That's your matchup tomorrow. And we mentioned the Dodgers. They handled the Reds yesterday behind Yamamoto being electric on the hill. He went 7. He brought the juice. He got out of some jams that he needed to since he battled, but the Dodgers offense is just too good. When you got Mookie Betts with 3 hits on a night, and we haven't even mentioned the fact that Freddie Freeman's in this lineup, or Shohei Ohtani's in this lineup, or I could keep going on in that lineup. Mookie Betts led the way for the Dodgers. The Dodgers offense will lead the way for them. 6 hits for Mookie in 2 games. The dude is raking. When your best players are your best players, it's hard to beat you. So that was the final game last night, and that series no longer continues. So tune in today for a 3-pack of baseball, 3 p.m. in Cleveland, 5 p.m. in Chicago, and 7 p.m. in New York. It should be a fun one for the people. This has been a fun one for me. Hope you're enjoying it on a Thursday. We'll take a quick commercial break and finish this show with some Thursday night football breakdown. We got some banana plays for the people. We got some lines, some information, some injury, all of the things. Thursday night football here on the Rome Show. A preview after this quick commercial break. Yeah. The Rome Show. We broadcast live on YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, and Facebook. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We got like 5 minutes left on this show. Hope the people are enjoying it. Breaking down Major League Baseball, the postseason, the popularity in baseball, all the things. 3 game 3s going on tonight in the baseball postseason. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Tune in. But once you are done watching that 3rd game, or while you're watching that 3rd game, if you operate like me and you have a 2-pack of TVs in your living room, one television for the side game, sport, whatever that I'm trying to watch, and one television for the main jobber, I'm going to have multiple things on this television tonight, starting with the 3 o'clock game, which I may miss because I'll be at practice. But once you get to 5 o'clock, if that 3 is still on, we'll have those both TVs, right? Gotta go. Okay. We'll put 3 o'clock on the main one because they're coming to an end, and then we'll put 5 o'clock on the secondary, and then we'll just make it a shuffle. All right. Then we'll put the 5 o'clock on the main, the 7 o'clock on the side TV, and we're going to keep that song and dance going on until Thursday night football starts. And I have the first half of Thursday night football, and I have the back end of Yankees versus Red Sox. To me, this is the best time in the world to be a sports fan. You have Major League Baseball postseason for the next 4 weeks. You have the National Football League regular season for the next 12 weeks. You have the start of the National Hockey League within the next week. You have the start of the National Basketball Association within the next 2 to 3 weeks. And you now have a 4-month sprint where you get the chance to watch almost every sport, because we just finished watching the Ryder Cup in golf, though they'll start to downtick a little bit. You're in the playoffs for NASCAR. Formula One's all over the place. You turn on the TV every Sunday, and they're in a different country, not just a different state. They're in a different country, okay? And the MLS, I think Tennessee just won the cup yesterday. The WNBA is about to be in its finals. I mean, it is. Oh, college football? Hello. Haven't even talked about college basketball is about to get started. This is the best time to be a fan of sports. So enjoy it, people, and let the Rome Show be your daily so we can give you all the best sports stories, the best opinions, and the best commentary on all things professional sports, like we're about to do right now on this Thursday night football contest. It's the 49ers. And it's the Rams. Now, off the jump, you're going to say to yourself, man, this is a good Thursday night football matchup. The 49ers and the Rams, two teams that we all believe on paper because you see their names and you have bias over the last bunch of years of them being good. You're like, this is going to be a good game. But then you really start to break it down. And the betting number on this game opened up at -3.5. on most sites. It is now north of -6.5 on the Rams' favor to even -8.5 on some sites because of the injury bug that is sweeping the San Francisco 49ers. And prior to the break, we talked about the New York Yankees, and this is the only comparison I feel like I can make. A team that historically every year people believe is going to make the postseason. But historically, every year deals with these crazy major injuries. And you say to yourself, is this a training staff thing? Is this a strength coaching thing? Is this a fundamental organizational problem thing? But it is way too consistent of a problem in San Francisco comparative to any other team in the National Football League. And I think if you date back to about 10 years ago when the Yankees started to trend in a really poor position as an organization, a lot of it stemmed from major injuries every year. And you're still probably dealing with it. It still feels like the Yankees over most organizations have like a major injury every year. Insert Giancarlo Stanton to any of this conversation. Insert Garrett Cole's arm this year. Insert CC Sabathia during his time. Insert any other guy in between. The Yankees did a complete overhaul internally of their strength program, their strength team, their doctor, whatever that needed to happen. That's exactly what might need to go on in San Francisco. I'm not inside of those walls, and maybe a lot of it is just pure bad luck. I don't know. Then maybe we need to burn some sage. But at the end of the day, it is consistent in San Francisco. So now you have a Thursday night football contest of 2 3-1 teams in the NFC West. But you have one team in the Rams coming off a really good victory against the undefeated Indianapolis Colts, where Matt Stafford threw for 3 TDs and over 350. And then you have another team in the 49ers who lost their first game against the Jacksonville Jaguars with a starting quarterback that is no longer going to be in. Brock Purdy out. Mac Jones back in for his third start of the year. And a team that is just consistently injured. So you've had holdouts. Juwan Jennings, gone or out, whatever. You have Ricky Pearsall. He's started to play well. Now he's out, leading the team in receiving. So the Rams are heavily favored tonight, and rightfully so, because you have a Rams offense and a Rams defense that's combined to be top 10 in the league. How about some of these numbers? In the pass game, the Rams are third in the league at 267.5 per game. In the rush game, led by Kyron Williams, 120.8 on the ground, good for 13th in the league. Points per game, 25, good for 13th in the league. But then you flip it to the other side. Their defense is top 10 in passing yards allowed per game, 186. Top 10 in rushing yards allowed, 98.5. Top 10 in points per game allowed at 20.3. It's going to be very difficult for a Mac Jones-led 49ers team who has injuries up and down wazoo. Your two top receivers are out. Nick Bosa's out for the rest of the season on your defensive line, and you're playing your backup quarterback. Now, Kyle Shanahan, the Niners, they've proven to still be competitive through these periods of craziness. But at the end of the day, the 49ers are too banged up, and the Rams are, I truly believe, too good of a complete team. You haven't even started to break down the combination of Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua literally made Xavier Howard retire. Xavier Howard unretired, signed with the Colts. Puka Nacua had like his best day ever. And now Xavier Howard has since retired again. That's how good he is. Because they put their number one cornerback on Devontae Adams. But then who's going to stop the run? Because Kyron Williams is running the rock. 303 rushing yards, 1 TD, 7th in the league. Okay? This is a really complete Rams team. And I go back to when when Aaron Donald, I almost said Ndamukong Suh because I think he was on that Rams team still, though, that won the Super Bowl. But either way, when Aaron Donald retired after 2023, I think a lot of people were worried about what it would look like for the Rams. And not just the defensive line, the whole thing. That's a big-time leader to lose. And a big-time leader with a big-time personality and some big-time ability. And Sean McVay has proven to be one of the best coaches in this league. Matthew Stafford has proven to be one of the best quarterbacks in this league. And the Rams are always there. And this year, I think they were under-talked about. And I think now you're looking at it saying, this could be one of the best teams in the NFC. This could be the team that wins the NFC West. It could be, because you had 3 teams in the NFC West at 3-1. Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and the Cardinals are sitting at 2-2 playing the worst team in the league, Tennessee, this week. So you're going to have 2 3-2 teams, a 4-1 team, and then depending on what Seattle does, 3-2 or another 4-1. This is a hard division, and the Rams still may be the best team in it. And you'll probably see that tonight on Thursday Night Football when they handle, in my belief, what they should handle with a bad or injured, not bad, injured, heavily injured 49ers ball club. -6.5 is what I had it at before the show. So that's what we're going to do here on the Rome Show. We're going to take it at the -6.5. And I'm going to take the Rams at that number. I think it's going to be easy for the Rams to put that up. Last week, the Niners lost 23-20 against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I don't think the Jags defense is as good as the Rams defense, but if that Niners offense was still able to muster up 20 points, I actually think the iteration of a healthier quarterback, Mac Jones, looks good in the offense, though you don't have the wide receivers. I'm like, well, maybe they can get to 17. Maybe they can get to 2 touchdowns. I think that is possible. It's not like the Rams defense is void of giving up points. They're going up 20 a game. So give me the 49ers at like 14 or 17. And then I'm like, well, this Niners defense isn't that good. So if this number is sitting at 46.5 over under, I kind of want to take the over because the way I'm looking at it, I just need the Rams to score about 27 points because I think it's going to be a 14-point, 17-point game for the Niners. It seems to be where they falter no matter who's playing in their uniform. So I'm going to take the over at the 46.5 because I do think the Rams are going to score tonight. And I don't think the Niners are the type of team to ever really get blanked. I don't even remember the last time the Niners scored less than 10 points. So give me the over at the 46.5. Give me the Rams at the -6.5. And finally, I want Stafford over the 234.5 passing yards. This Niners defense gives up 6.5 yards per catch right now through the air. And must I remind you, they give up 210.2 passing yards per game. So if you got Stafford, who's averaging 267.5 per game, and you got the Niners giving up 210 per game, but 6.5 per catch with Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, I'll take that over 234.5 for Matthew Stafford. My predictions for Thursday night football. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a fantastic Thursday here, and I hope the Rome Show got you right for that Thursday. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting. Be sure to head to youtube.com/the Romanellas and hit subscribe. Twitter, X, and Instagram, The Rome Show 1, or simply just follow us on Facebook. Do one of them, though. We'd really appreciate that. I'll be back tomorrow on Friday for a little Football Friday, some Seska Sense, and a little bit more fun. 7:30, somewhere in that range, we'll be on live. We expect to see you. Andrew Romanella, have an electric day. Peace!
Thank you for listening.